I'm stuck in a cycle I can't get out of. I'm an internet addict and spend most of my time locked into YouTube, Facebook. The bit of guilt about it keeps the cycle going. There's so much guilt, it's constantly underlying my experience. I know it all comes down to rigid beliefs that I'm not aware of ultimately. Perhaps you can intuit what the stuck beliefs might be. It's a shame we can't talk, Thomas, because this would be great to verbally work through with you. But yeah, you really have to have a headset to make it fair on everyone else. So let's just take a look at this. So first of all, YouTube and Facebook particularly. You'll see if you can find some. Well, okay, we'll see if you can find some, and then you can call me. I'll move on to somebody else's question. Hi, Bia. Is it my smartphone, or do you keep changing the brightness on the video? I think the brightness might be affected by when I open different screens. So when I open Skype, it's like really white. When I open my editor, it's really grey. Oh, I see if I can find some for Wednesday. Okay, so let's go back to your question. So I think Facebook have come out and admitted, and YouTube, I don't know about YouTube, YouTube's slightly different, but Facebook has come out and admitted, and a lot of research has gone into TV programs as well, is that what Facebook and YouTube are attempting to do is to get you to spend as much time on there as possible. I don't do it, but I'm aware of it. Like, I don't suddenly do something 2 minutes in to keep you hooked. Like, I don't suddenly sort of say something or a line to keep you hooked. That would be so impossible for me to try and think about. But so, you know, when YouTube write me videos, this is the sort of advice they give me, not videos, when they write me emails, because I'm a YouTube partner. I don't know what that actually is, but they send me all these special emails because I've hit a certain amount of views. And they give me advice of how to increase people watching, and I do pay attention to two things. So what they suggest you do is you let people interact. So I try to let people interact as long as they're not abusive. And what else do I do? I post regularly. That's another thing they recommend to do, but I don't do that because they suggested it. I do that because that's what I feel to do. But the letting people interact, I do because they told me to do it. And I also like it as well that people have freedom to speak. I don't think it's being abusive towards someone is freedom of speech. And so I do sometimes switch it off. So I don't actually just do it because they advise me. I do it because I predominantly like it. But they're the only two things that fit into their criteria, but they have other criterias. So like 5 minutes in, you have this criteria, this criteria. They even recommend colors of codes to wear to attract people. So the way you dress, the background you have, and it's all about a subtle manipulation to keep viewers watching. The way that you say things, the way you do things. There's so many things in that I don't do, like I don't do correctly. So hopefully it means that the people that are listening to me really like what I'm saying, and it's not because of some trick that's keeping them in. And that's what my opinion is. But you'll notice it on videos. I can see it really obviously when somebody's being researching like what they should wear, what they should say, at how many minutes in. Like YouTube will even give you statistics at how many minutes in people begin to lose interest. And so you've got to do something to create that interest. It's the same in films and in TV. So what they're actually doing psychologically is they're hitting on people's addictions. And it's the same with Facebook as well. The likes on Facebook, the shares on Facebook. I don't actually like Facebook that much. It just doesn't do that much for me. What I do like about Facebook is being shared certain videos, like there's videos that I enjoy on there and humor, and I like seeing people's photos that I know. Like I like that ability to share that, I really enjoy, but it actually doesn't do that much for me, so it just doesn't work for me that much. But what they do is, again with Facebook, and there's lots of research on this, they again use psychology to keep you addicted and to keep you looking and to keep you hooked on it. So these beautiful things, they are beautiful things, and I love YouTube, and it's just amazing that we've now got something on the internet where people can broadcast themselves, and it is getting more controlled by the wealthy again, but that's the same with everything, and then something else will break out. But it's amazing that we get to broadcast and we can sit here and talk about non-duality freely and openly, and that our government doesn't stop us. There are restrictions that they put on it, and that will grow. That's just the nature of humans. The business people always take over, and in a way psychologically you can understand why that should be the way it happens, and then the creative people create something new and something else breaks out, which is really beautiful. So I would look at that as an addiction. So it's an addiction that you've got there if you're watching it and doing it all day. So if you want to break the addiction, there's ways that you can break the addiction. My recommendation, and I'm not an expert in breaking addictions, but you could look it up on YouTube. You could look it up on the internet about breaking addictions and how to do that. The other thing that I would recommend before you do that is look at what's actually happening inside of you when you're doing it. So what is happening to you when you're getting sucked into watching it all day? And what does it feel like? Like, see what your body is saying. So ask your body, and if you realize it's an agitation or a fear or a boredom or a shutdownness, then look at that. See, where is it that I feel this in my body? It's always important to acknowledge it, because most of the time our attention is just up here, and so I like people acknowledging it. The chakras is a really good system to be able to communicate about these feelings, and I think that it's often quite correct, the chakra system. So where do I feel that? I feel agitated at the moment, so I go onto the internet. I feel that in my lower belly. I feel this agitation, and just investigate it. Is there anything underneath the agitation? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it a fear of the future? Like, investigate it. And when you sort of begin to feel like you understand what's going on in your feeling body, then you can begin to transform that into something more positive, and it most probably will break the addiction by itself. But I'm not an addiction expert, so you can also what you could also do is, because I'm not an addiction expert, is you could look it up just to make sure, or just to get some suggestions. But I really feel like this will break the addiction. And then you can transform it. So what is it you actually want? So when you're watching that, it's bringing fear and it's bringing negativity. So what is it that you actually want? Ask yourself and allow yourself anything. Take the caps off it. What is it that I want in this moment? I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel alive. And then, is it the YouTube or Facebook that's bringing me that? No. So what is it that would make me feel engaged and alive? And allow yourself to imagine anything and let your energy pick up. And as your energy picks up, the body will move in the right way. As your energy picks up, the seeking will stop, and you'll be more expressing life's will rather than the seeking condensed energy of the person, the separate person's will. Voilà. You might want to re-listen to that. That is my advice. But it'd be great if you could get headphones and we could talk more in detail about it, Thomas. on Wednesday.